Hi everyone, so in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to paint a realistic dog tongue in acrylics. Now this is going to be step by step so I can show you the different layers. My first job is to get a base layer down and hide that background colour. For this I'm not really mixing the exact colour, it's more that I'm going for my values. So I want to be putting in where my shadows are and where my main highlights are. I can adjust the colour later on with glazes. So my next layer is the layer of refinement. Now this for me is a really important layer and it actually builds up so much more depth. My main aim with this layer is that I'm just trying to reinforce those shadows and highlights. Again, I'm not focusing on the colour, but I do want to make sure that I'm capturing my light source. Now most of the time the back of the tongue closer to the top part of the mouth is going to be darker, because this is the part of the tongue that's further down the throat, so the light is not able to get to this part of the mouth. So I do want to make sure that I've got my shadows in the right place. Now the one technique that you can see I'm using here is wet on wet blending. Now with acrylics this is something that can be fairly challenging because of the fast drying time, but there are various techniques that you can use to slow that down. Now we can, if we want to, make acrylics work in the same way as oils, purely by using a fine mist sprayer bottle. Now this works really well, and if you would like to see this blending technique all in real time, then I will put my Patreon in the description below. That's where I offer all of my in-depth step-by-step tutorials. Now with this wet on wet blending technique, all you want to be doing is making that paint stay wetter for longer so that when you go back in with your next colour, the layer that you did previously is still wet. This is going to allow you to get those beautifully soft blended edges exactly as I'm starting to build up here. Now actually for this tongue I haven't used a fine mist sprayer bottle, but what I have done is just made sure that I'm switching out my colours a bit more quickly. Now what I can do here is use two brushes. I can use one for my darker pinks and one for my lighter pinks. This means that I don't have to spend that time in between colour changes rinsing off my brushes. That extra time, those few seconds, will mean that that paint has got that much longer to dry. So by working with different brushes that are the same size will be the best way of getting this type of technique with acrylics. But of course, as I've said, you can also use a fine mist sprayer bottle. Now because the fast drying time and blending those soft edges is one of the more challenging aspects of working with acrylics, I really do focus on this on all of my in-depth tutorials on Patreon. So this next layer here, again, I'm just now starting to build up my highlights. I'm focusing on that light source. Now I talk about this in all tutorials because the contrast and the lighting is what's going to make your painting more realistic rather than the exact colour. It's always important to remember that you could have 5 photos of that one animal and the colour of the fur or the tongue is going to be different in every single one. It's going to depend on the time of day, whether or not the clouds have gone over the sun, even if those photographs were taken at the same time. So it is always going to vary. The one thing though that's going to be more consistent throughout is that contrast. You want your shadows dark enough and your highlights bright enough. Now a few minutes ago I spoke about the size of the brushes. Now for me this is a really important element of anything that I'm painting. You'll notice from the other videos I have here on YouTube that I don't like working with larger sizes. The reason being I find it is far more tempting to then put one solid colour down for that layer. What that does then is we don't end up following that reference photo as closely as we should. Whereas the one thing that's been very apparent here in this tutorial is I've been mapping in my lights and my darks accurately from the very beginning. I could easily leave this tongue at this current stage if I decided to end the painting session on that day, go back to it if I wanted to the following day, but it's already looking realistic, because I haven't put one solid layer of colour down with a larger brush. So the biggest consideration here is I'm still not focusing on any kind of detail on the tongue. The one common mistake that can often happen is we are tempted to put too much detail in too early on. Now what that will do is it will significantly limit the amount of depth that that one element has. So even if it's not anything that's got fur where you do have that fluffier texture, this tongue would still look far more two-dimensional if I weren't building up my layers gradually. So it's only really once I've got to this stage where my base layers, those layer of refinement and building up my highlights, it's at this stage here where I can start to consider building up the texture on the tongue. So here I'm now working with a smaller round brush so that I can be a little bit more precise with my brush strokes. Previously, up until this point, I've been working with a filbert brush. Both of those brushes are very different in shape. They will give you different brush strokes. That's another big tip, is don't use one brush for your base layers all the way up to your final details. You'll find that whatever element you're working on, again, will end up far more two-dimensional and flatter. You also want to be making sure that you're moving this brush in the right direction of those details. So if you notice that the tongue dips down at the lower end where we've got more of these highlights, we have to make sure that the brush strokes are curved in the middle. We don't want to be painting straight lines. So before we move on to the next layer of detail, if this video and the tips and techniques that I've shared so far have been useful, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up because it makes a huge difference. And if you do want to get notified of the content that I upload here to YouTube, then hit that subscribe and the bell button. So as I'm building up these layers here, I'm still sticking with my mid-tone highlights, but shortly I'm going to be reinforcing that depth by adding some of my shadows. I typically work from dark to light when I'm working with acrylics, but there are occasions here where you want to go back in with your darker colours. At the moment, this would be perfectly acceptable for a smoother textured tongue. The texture of the tongue is going to vary from dog to dog, so I do want to make sure that I'm only adding the right amount of detail for the one reference photo that I've got in front of me. But this Staffordshire Bull Terrier did have some darker details, some darker indentations on the tongue that I wanted to make sure that I captured. So once I've built up this softness by these lighter layers, that's when I felt I could then go in with these darker details and build up that depth. So this is a current glaze. What a glaze is it's a thinner mixture that you can apply to a layer that's already dry to tint that colour or make something darker or lighter. Now I like to use Liquitex Basics. They are a wonderful paint to work with and they are a little bit more transparent. But I personally like that because I do work with glazes throughout the painting process. Now if colour selection and colour mixing is something that you find quite challenging, then Liquitex Basics may be a good paint to use. You don't have to focus on the exact colour of the fur or the tongue, whatever it might be that we're painting, because that can be adjusted with one single layer at the end if you wanted to. So I do show all of the glazing techniques that I use in my Patreon tutorials. I've got at the moment a mixture of pastel and acrylic tutorials all separated into their individual tiers, and I am soon going to be adding a graphite tier. But with that acrylic tier, I really do go in depth with the layers, the glazes, the details, the brushes, and you've also got a palette camera in the corner so you can see the paints that I'm mixing, how much paint I'm mixing, and also that technique of loading that paint onto the brush. All of these things are gonna really dictate on what type of detail we're creating. So all of that is covered in my real-time tutorials. So the other thing that's really important is no matter what element that you're painting, is if you feel that you don't have as much depth or that 3D shape that you would like, then it's usually because you don't have enough layers. If you scroll back to the beginning of this video where I worked on that first layer, I've built up so many layers here. It's not just a matter of doing 2 or 3. We want to always be refining those highlights and shadows and then really studying those details. But leaving those details to these final layers as I currently am here is definitely the best way of adding more realism to the painting. It can also be beneficial as well on elements like this to turn the painting upside down and the reference photo upside down. Your brain will then be forced to see it for the abstract shapes rather than this is a dog tongue and I know how that should look. Our brain will often play tricks on us and we start to paint things that we don't actually see. So by turning everything up the other way, you can overcome that. So I really do hope that this tutorial has been useful. Here is a photograph of Ozzy's finished painting, and if it was helpful, I would really appreciate it, as I've said, if you could give it a like and a thumbs up, because it does make a huge difference. If you've got any art related questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below, because I'm more than happy to help if I can. And if my slower in-depth tutorials are of interest, I will make sure that Patreon is linked in the description. I do also have a Patreon library on my website where you can see all of the tutorials that are available there before you sign up. Now, the wonderful thing with Patreon, and one of the main reasons why I love it, is it's very flexible. You can stay for as long as you want, or you can cancel at any time. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to be uploading another video at the end of the week.